so beautiful.
Hello folks, welcome to the Student Disinterest Project. This month I'm joined by my friends Hugo and Django as we discuss the upcoming potential social media ban, the Tasmanian election, the riots in Los Angeles, and the conflict between Israel and Iran. Let's start at the beginning of the month. This is Senator Dorinda Cox. She made headlines in the first week of this month because she left the Greens Party and joined the Labour Party. Yeah, they can do that. So why'd she switch, and what does it mean for Labour and the rest of the Senate? This is the upper house of Parliament, or the Senate. This is a visual representation of which parties hold the seats. As you can see, the Labour Party is the biggest individual party, followed by the Liberals and then the Greens. Pretty typical stuff, right? Dorinda Cox was one of the members of the Greens, and she was the party's Indigenous Affairs spokesperson. She stated her reason for leaving being that it's easier to make change from a party in government, which is fair enough. She's the second senator to defect from her party recently, and yeah, they do call her that. The other one is Fatima Payman, who you might recognise from her legendary speech that she gave in September of last year.
To the Sigmas of Australia.
Do you remember the Skibbity Senator?
Yes.
Yeah, it was great. Do you remember what her speech was about?
Wait, no, I got this. This goofy our government is straight capping.
What was it about?
It was inflation or the housing crisis.
Online rights.
Yeah, one of the things she said was they must have brain rot from watching too much Kai Cenat and forgot about their plans to ban social media for kids under 14. If that becomes law, you can forgo skull emoji all about watching Duke Dennis or catching a dub with the bros on foot. The effectiveness of this speech was questionable though, since the target audience of this speech was people who can't vote. And while she did acknowledge this, to put it bluntly, I would be more inclined to support the social media ban if I thought it targeted people who spoke like this on a daily basis.
Skibbity.
But yeah, on the topic of that ban, it's supposed to come into effect of December of this year, and the eSafety Commissioner wants to add YouTube to the list of banned apps. What do you guys think of that? Do you think that's fair?
Yeah, it doesn't affect me, so...
It affects me. Should I be banned from YouTube?
I feel like it's unfair to ban it, because banning YouTube because there might be a little bit of unsafe content just forgoes all of the good content that is available and can help the learning of younger kids.
She quoted a survey saying that almost 37% of young people between the age of 10 and 15 were exposed to harmful content on YouTube.
That's a suspicious number.
She also said she wants to ban YouTube because it's the most used platform by young people and therefore the easiest way we can access harmful content. If you think of the percentage of like harmful content to non-harmful content on YouTube, that's got to be one of the best ratios, sure.
Well, yeah, no, there's restrictions on YouTube.
Yeah. Moving on to the Tasmanian election coming up.
Let's go.
Tasmania's having an election?
So Tasmania's having an election. This is Tasmania. It's a pretty cool place in Australia. They have mountains, botanical gardens, some cool art, and devils. They also have this guy. Who is this guy? He is their current premier, Jeremy Rockcliffe. He's from the Liberal Party, and the Labour Party say they have no confidence in him. So they've set up this new guy, and this new guy is going to try to run for premier. For this reason, they're calling a snap election to potentially elect a new premier. Why don't they have confidence in him? The main reason that's been stated is Tasmania's current budget. Basically, the government is wanting to spend a whole load of money on things that aren't really necessary and could result in plenty of job losses. It's also causing Tasmania to lose money fast. Like, we're talking $2 billion in 2 years fast.
It's because they have Daniel as their goalkeeper.
And this is while they're, of course, already in debt. The other main candidate for this election is Dean Winter from the Labour Party. Considering the way that Labour has dominated in the most recent federal election, you'd expect him to be able to win this election by a landslide. The thing is the Liberals who dominated the previous state election, and they've done so for the last 11 years. The election's called for the 19th of July, so I guess we'll have to wait and find out what happens. Moving over to the other side of the world, here's what's happening in Los Angeles. You're probably familiar with the current situation in LA, or, well, at least this much of it. This all started on the 6th of June, when the American Immigration Custom Enforcement officers began arresting undocumented immigrants. Wait, who are they again? And why are they doing this now? LA riots, tell me what you know.
Illegal deployment of the US Marines and armed forces to combat what was otherwise mostly peaceful protest. It was over the somewhat illegal detainment of illegal immigrants in the US.
What he said was right, but what does that mean?
No idea.
So according to their website, ICE is divided into 3 groups, each with different functions and purposes. We have the enforcement and removal operations, the Homeland Security investigations, and Office of the Principal Legal Advisor. We're going to talk about the first 2. The ERO is dedicated to, quote, enforcing the immigration law against those who present a danger to our national security, are a threat to public safety, or who otherwise undermine the integrity of our immigration system. Which is a little bit intense way to say immigrants who aren't registered or documented. The HSI is responsible for investigating, disrupting, and dismantling transnational criminal organizations, or TCOs, and terrorist networks that threaten or seek to exploit the customs and immigration laws of the United States, which basically means they do a very similar thing. One of Trump's election promises was to really crack down on immigration laws, with the focus being on criminals, gangs, etc. Obviously, the focus hasn't been so much on them and more anyone they can find who just happens to be an undocumented immigrant. The LA mayor said, "I'm hard-pressed to see that when you're chasing people through Home Depot parking lots, sweeping up street vendors who are selling food, or going to a car wash and arresting the people who work there or the customers." The LA riots are a direct result of this. So the government's response has been to send more ICE officers to shut them up. And also the Royal Guard is there. That move has been considered unnecessary and has confused many people, including the mayor, who said actions like these only provoke protesters to be more violent. One of them also shot an Australian reporter with a rubber bullet.
Was it with a rubber bullet?
It was with a rubber bullet.
Yeah.
I may have seen it, but I've forgotten it.
They could reference rubber bullets are made of rubber and they hurt.
Rubber bullets aren't exactly made of rubber. Usually they're just metal with a rubber coating or have a little bit of rubber in them. They still do big damage.
Firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA.
Oh yeah, no. It's like the camera turns to the guy and he goes, oh, time for a clip.
Yeah, okay. It's about time I talk about the elephant in the room, isn't it? What do you know about the Israel-Iran conflict?
Isn't the US kind of siding with Israel by sending, is it 18 B-2 bombers and striking Iranian nuclear places?
He's pretty much right. The US did send 7 B-2 bomber aircraft to Iran to drop a total of 14 bunker buster bombs on 3 Iranian nuclear sites. They did this in support of Israel, who bombed the area just days before. They did this because they're scared that Iran will develop nuclear weapons, which are a threat, especially to these 2 countries which have nuclear weapons themselves.
It feels strange to have this fear for this long, and also just denying them nuclear weapons seems a bit hypocritical.
To retaliate, Iran then sent the same number of bombs to a US military base in Qatar.
Then, after they made that bombing, Trump called a ceasefire between Israel and Iran,
Which lasted 4 hours.
which lasted 4 hours, at which point Israel claimed that Iran had broken the ceasefire and planned to retaliate. However, Iran denied breaking the ceasefire and said that the break was used as an excuse to invade them.
And now they're fighting again. State of origin. Which teams you support?
Queensland.
Queensland.
Correct.
Hey, Lewis, you're losing.
It's tied, so I don't know when
Don't you tell me that you got more tries, or that you're better, or that we managed to score no tries in the second half, or that you won decisively in the first one. I don't want to hear it, Lewis.
Yeah, I'm very happy that the Blues lost the second game. And I think that's it. For now. The month is over, and surely nothing happens between the time I film this and the time I release it. Right?